This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
On this episode of You Can't Eat the Grass, wacky weather creates a 1-week gap in flower production that we fill with a road trip to the US of A. But as we hit the road, the farm is hit with a tornado. Can we deal with all that and get back to the next market? Stay tuned to find out. It's another market morning. Serena and I were both up super late last night, but that's because we're not going to the market today. We're going on a trip. The ranunculus really aren't producing very much. You know, the tulips, they're long gone. But our summer flowers, they're not really ready yet. There's not enough to go to the farmer's market this week. So we figured we'd just take the week off and do something we've been meaning to do for a long time, and that's go down to Seattle and show the kids the big city. We've really been working a lot of hours these last 5 years. And, you know, we don't want to lose track of the fact that, you know, you're working these hours for a purpose, and that is to, you know, provide for your family, make a life for yourself. And if you never take time off to enjoy it, then what's the point, right? So we have been making an effort this year to have a little bit more work-life balance and, you know, doing little road trips when the opportunity pops up. That's one of the things we're trying to do. The van is literally ready to go. It's packed up. Everybody's in there. They're just waiting for me.
Let's do this!
Woohoo, we're not here anymore, we're somewhere else. Does it count as vacation yet?
Yeah, we're like on our road. We gotta at least like get out of our town.
I'm already checked out, sorry. We've hit construction. Serena, you jumped the queue.
I know, I didn't know.
So you passed like 100 cars before you pulled in. That's not very Canadian.
I know. I'm like, sorry. Sorry.
We're in America now.
We did it.
Yep.
Now we just have to drive a bunch more hours.
Yep. There's baby's breath growing wild everywhere here.
I know.
Are you jealous?
Apparently an invasive weed in the Okanagan, I recently found out, which is very clear because it's like all over the sides of the road. But it makes me laugh because I spent years trying to get it to grow. It kept dying on me. And I've only ever been able to get like 2 plants.
Apparently it needs more neglect.
What do you think? Should we park here?
We here?
The first stop in any road trip to America for us is Tex-Mex.
So we just got a call from Nellie, our employee, who's helping us out by keeping an eye on the farm while we're gone. And there was just a tornado that went through and it ripped apart one of our greenhouses. The trip just got a lot more expensive, but it's fine. She's gonna cut everything apart, get it to the point that, you know, we can just deal with it when we get home.
We've been in America for like 2 hours.
Yeah, we're literally 4 hours into our trip. The problem with having a farm, you can't ever go on vacation because things like this happen. But onwards and upwards. Are you excited to be out of the car?
Yes! Me.
Made it to our first destination, which is this adorable little Bavarian town called Leavenworth. This town is very cute. There was like 0 parking and it was chaos, and we were like, whoa, what's going on? There must be like some special event. And they were like, yeah, no, it's just the weekend in the summer. So it's very much a tourist attraction.
What'd you get, Tim?
Look at my hand.
Oh, it's still there.
Close your eyes.
Oh, that's Sam. That's totally you. That's totally you.
That feels so weird.
Oh yeah, that's Leah.
Okay, give us a check-in, Ian.
We're on our way to Seattle now, which is exciting. We're on the wet side of the mountain, so it's always fun to be somewhere that's green and lush as opposed to the dry desert areas on the other side of the mountains. And we're going for Serena's favorite food, dim sum breakfast.
Mommy, look at that dragon.
Yeah, because we're in Chinatown. So can you eat 3 of these?
No.
Because I ordered you 3. The library!
What's so special about this library?
It's like one of the best buildings in the entire world.
Why?
Because it looks so good.
Who built it?
I don't know.
Well, what do you think of the library?
That was pretty cool. It looks amazing from the outside and it looks even better from the inside.
You're standing in the rain and I'm standing in the dry. You getting that?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I like that one.
Flowers everywhere.
Stay close. What do you think of going up in the tower?
Scary. It's so high.
It was nice knowing you, Leah.
Yeah, you too. Yeah. Okay, Daddy, go down. Oh, look, the Ferris wheel. I faked my fear.
Oh, I think it sounds like you pressed the...
Yeah, I think I pressed the other one. Sorry.
Here, and this machine, like it's turning it, right? Don't look down!
What'd you think, Leah?
It was good.
This is the area that Floret Farm is. We're really excited because we're going to see one of our favorite farms. But it's not Floret. It's Joe's Garden. So that's our next stop. Back from our trip. Kaya is very happy to be back outside. But it's time to go and see what the damage is. It's time to go and see what this tornado did. Well, it definitely looks different.
It's weird not having it here. It's been here for like a year and a half. I'm pretty bummed. The greenhouse is like the most precious space on the farm. That's like a pretty major loss to us. And then there's not like there's a greenhouse store in Kelowna where I could just go pick up another greenhouse. So it's gonna take like time and money to get another one here. And then it takes a little bit of time to set them up. Like they do set up okay, but it does take a day. We were all caught up on the farm and now it feels like, you know, we're taking a step backwards.
Nellie, our employee, and her husband helped us out. She said she saw it. Luckily no one was in the space. That's the scariest part, to think that someone could have gotten hurt. But so they took it down for us. It's a pile of metal, so it's a little bit hard to judge, but it looks a lot better than I thought it would. You know, I think that we'll be able to salvage at least half of it. This is the pole on the end because it has our wiggle wire. The arch is made out of 2 pieces, which we connected together with this like pretty heavy duty piece of metal. And the wind was so strong that it just ripped it apart. The way they're held into the ground is with the rebar. The wind was so strong that it's like just twisted this rebar like in half, which is crazy. I don't even know how many pounds of pressure you'd have to be putting on this like heavy duty rebar to do this. It's insane how much strength was in that, you know, that wind without it happening anywhere else, just in this like one tiny location. Yeah, there's another piece here. Totally just collapsed the thing in on itself. It's crazy. Worst case scenario is that someone gets hurt. And that didn't happen, so that means we didn't have worst case scenario, which is awesome. You know, honestly, as expensive as these tunnels are, it is more costly the damage that they cause when they come down. Even these glads that were, you know, in the tunnel when this was happening, they're not showing any sign of damage. It landed on top of the crops beside it. And even that, I kind of am looking at it and it's only like a few flowers that got broken. Nothing in the crops that are planted really are affected by this, you know, which is good, right? Because that's, you know, that's where the money is. It sucks that this happened, but it happened when the ranunculus are finished, so the crop in the greenhouse is fine. You know, it didn't damage anything beside it. It obviously wasn't lucky for this fluke weather thing to come to the farm, but I'm still feeling pretty lucky.
Look at that.
You gotta see if we're rich, if we paid for our vacation. So while we were gone, Nellie was keeping the farm stand stocked for us. So we stayed open completely during the whole trip. She made up all these bouquets that look great. And it seems like they were selling really well. We have about $260 in cash. Going through the e-transfers, looked like there was probably about 300, maybe even more in the e-transfers. Maybe in total, you know, somewhere in the $700–800 range, including what's in here. Another $120. Yeah,
Not too shabby.
Not too bad for no flowers. The stand definitely makes everything just that little bit easier. You know, obviously it's a bummer to not have enough flowers to be able to go to the market, but you know, definitely appreciate having enough to keep the stand without having to have it shut down at all.
And we'll always prioritize keeping the stand open
Yeah,
over the market.
stand is more important than the market. Okay, let's go see what the farm looks like. This cat is happy to be outside again. He's such a sweet, snuggly boy outside and a mean, violent boy inside. Kiss these little toes.
A lot of color in here.
I know. When we left, there was only a little bit of white, some of the yellow, but now all my pink has started, which makes me happy. We didn't get to pick anything out of this section last year. You know, there's like over 800 plants in here. This looking so good, no bugs on it. It's exciting to have a good yarrow year.
There's good stuff back here.
Daisy. The daisy is blooming. Looks like there's some vole activity in here, killing my perennial sunflower, but in the other spots, it's looking good, starting to bud up. This is like borderline winter hardy for us. So every year it comes back. It makes me happy. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see this starting to bloom like next week or the week after. And this week, this is the week for my daisies.
Those are so good.
I know. I keep like trying to order more of it every spring, and they keep selling out of it. So this is 25 plants, or you know, however many it is that has survived. And I'm like, I need like 100 more of them.
For sure.
But echinops and sea holly, it's exciting. Nellie said that it was cold and wet other than the day that the tornado hit, which is actually kind of good for the plants. Like I'm looking at these cosmos that we planted a little bit before we left. You know, these zinnias, they're looking really good. The stuff really started to grow this week. These straw flowers, these were like so tiny and sad when we put them in a couple weeks ago. But, you know, having a little bit of cooler weather has really benefited them. I don't know what they're gonna do. They might never turn into strong plants, which is fine because we're mostly gonna be picking just flower heads, not stems. They're starting to look really happy and really healthy now, so this is really exciting. These marigolds are starting to get like really big. It won't be long till they start branching up. And then my cinnamon basil, you know, I imagine that in 2 weeks, I'll be picking stems off of these. So it's coming. The summer stuff is coming. I have rudbeckia starting. I'll actually be able to have some rudbeckia stems for this weekend. And then, most important of all, my lilies have finally started. We have 2 beds now of Asiatic lilies that we just have perennialized into the farm. And then they bloom when they bloom. We get about a 2-week window, but they're gonna save our butt this week. This is what I needed last weekend to be able to put bouquets together. But, you know, I'm gonna have it for this weekend and I'll have it for next weekend. This is really gonna save me. And if I only had what was out in the field, I would be a little bit nervous. But amazingly, Nellie, throughout the week, was picking lilies for me. So we have the cooler filled. We're ready for getting going on Friday. You know, because the way we make bouquets, you know, single lily becomes a bouquet. I think there's like 60 in here. Back to market. Gotta do some harvesting.
Pick the perfect time of day for it.
I know, I was being lazy playing with kittens all day. And so now I have to harvest at night.
No more vacation, it's back to the grind.
I know. Good thing I like my job. Yeah. None of this snip business. Grab the entire plant.
Well, I gotta get back inside.
Well, I have 8 more buckets of yarrow to pick. So, see you in a little while.
I know where you'll be at least. Hello.
Hey. We're busy making bouquets. We got lots of stuff for being able to go to market. We got them loaded in the cooler. I got infinite yarrow. I've picked buckets and buckets and buckets worth, but there's still lots more. A whole rainbow. We have lots of borage, which we're loading up for filler. They're all gonna be feverfew, yarrow, borage, greenery, and lilies. That's gonna be like every single bouquet. But yeah, but because we have all the different colors, I think it's gonna look really good. And you know, they look so big and full with the yarrow and the feverfew. So we do that. At the roadside stand, ever since we've ran out of flowers, we've actually been selling even more flowers. Running out of flowers isn't always a bad thing, apparently.
You can put soil in there and then you submit
like
it.
A bouquet of filler. Do you guys want to try that? I think it
sure.
Because everything's kind of big.
So far?
I put 4 in the stand, and this is 3. We've been washing buckets and cleaning flowers, and I spent an hour picking more yarrow. So we're doing good though.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like 11 o'clock, I think.
Yeah, it's only 11.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
I have the dream team. Nelly and Rox. The 2 of them in like 3 hours can put together like 100 bouquets. So I'm not at all worried. We're gonna get lots. We're gonna use up every single stem. Yeah. They're like, no, we won't use every single.
It won't be a 4.
We'll use every single lily.
It won't be a 4 in the morning today, right?
No.
That's for sure.
It'll be 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
When we all finish for the day. Okay, so this is the borage, which is a weed, and I've never used it in bouquets before, but earlier in the month I vase tested it, and it actually holds up really good. I use it more as a filler. These little blue flowers, they only last for 2 days, and then they kind of drop, but the texture of the like puff looks really nice in the bouquet. And I've had multiple customers mention to me that they love it. You know what I'm gonna mix these with?
Borage, yarrow, raspberries.
And feverfew?
And feverfew.
That's right, you guessed it.
All right. What do you think we're gonna sell at the market tomorrow?
Well, I was gonna send you with 60 bouquets. So not that many, was kind of what I was thinking. What do you think of that?
I think that's reasonable, because the markets have been a little bit slower. And then you can have lots to stock at the stand, because the stand's been doing well.
Yeah. You know, the very first blooms on the Rudbeckia are so big. Right? Like they're like insane.
They're massive.
Right? Like
the colors are beautiful. People are sunflowers.
We'll have sunflowers next week. The beginning. The sunflowers look like they're gonna time perfectly. So we'll have lilies next week. Sunflowers will be starting, and then the week after is when the sunflowers will flush. So there's at least 3 more markets we can go to, and then cross our fingers we have flowers again by then.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you to it.
Yep. Good. Been holding us up. We gotta get the real work done.
Yeah, too much talking.
Yeah, get out of here. Bouquets ended up turning out really good. Look at these like daisy ones. They're like so romantic and pretty. They always sell really well. This is a popular bouquet. So I know that these are gonna do good. And like the yarrow just never stopped. I picked yarrow until midnight last night, and I was like, I'm tired, I'm just gonna go to bed. I can pick more when I need it. But I was like, oh, I'll need to pick more yarrow. I didn't pick all the yarrow. But no, Apparently I picked so much yarrow. There's still so much out in the field too. Makes me happy. My plans, my evil plans to be a yarrow farm are turning out well so far, production-wise. We just needed to find a way to sell it all, but it dries, so it won't be a complete waste. But wait till you guys see the cooler. Oh, so gorgeous. Just a few bouquets in here. We ended up making 100 in total. We have 16 up in the cooler, so this is what 85 bouquets looks like. Looks good. Into the cooler. Look, Ian.
All in the black crates for me.
I've trained everyone.
Makes my morning so easy.
Use the black crates for you. We're like maximum capacity when I get these leftovers back in there. Okay, Ian, I've done my job. I've created $2,000 worth of flowers. Now you have to sell them.
The easy part. There's lots of color in the sky this morning, which I will take as a good omen for a good day. I'm excited to get back out there, get to that market. You know, we took that week off, all refreshed, ready to get back there. Last thing to do before I go is just gotta take these 5 bouquets up to the roadside stand, turn the light on, and then I'm ready to go. Well, I am ready with plenty of time. I should probably pick some cherries before I go. I got my cherry snack, so now I am ready to go. Everything's all set up here. The market is about to open. I'm excited. It's a beautiful day. Flowers look great, so I'm hoping for big success. It's 9 a.m. The market's been open for 1 hour and we're at 180. You know, not too bad, not too great. But I'm excited. I'm having fun down here today. I missed being at the market last week. I think we could have a good sales day. 10 o'clock rush is gonna come and they're gonna buy everything up. We're now 2 hours into the market and we're at 360, so 180 an hour, being consistent. You know, if we can keep that pace up, I'm pretty happy with that today. It's been a couple hours since I checked in. It's right around noon. We're at 680, you know, so not much to report. It's kind of been the same thing. We've had a bunch of markets this year in that 750, 850 range, and this will probably end up being another one of them. The most surprising thing this week is that nobody's buying this white bouquet. There's a bunch of them, and they're my favorites, and it's like the only time of the season when the white bouquets are my favorite. People aren't even picking them up. They're not even, you know, second choice. Well, that's it. The market's over. We made it to 800 on the dot. Honestly, you know, the stand's really been where we've been selling the most this year, so you know, it doesn't feel like we're as dependent on these markets, but you know, we're still hoping for $1,000 markets.
Well, feels pretty good to be back to the market. Not having flowers is pretty much worst case scenario. All the work that we do is for having flowers to sell, and you know, hitting mid-season when we should be in an abundance of flowers and not having enough to do a market is a pretty big disaster. So I'm feeling a lot of relief that at least it was only a one week disaster. For a while there, it was seeming like, you know, it could be a couple weeks that was gonna be really bad. I could have sat at home crying all week, just, you know, really feeling the disappointment and the stress of all this. I'm glad that I didn't do that, right? Like, you know, allowing myself to wallow in the bad times would have made this, you know, a really rough week. And, you know, I feel instead of looking back at this and seeing this as being one of the lowest points in the year, instead we can look back at it and, you know, have all these great family trip memories, right? This is a good week instead of, you know, being the overwhelmingly bad week that I could have allowed it to be. You know, kitten kisses always help, right? Getting all these kitten snuggles. It's pretty ridiculous that already such a bad week then turns into even worse by having a tornado come and take out our greenhouse. I don't like to think of greenhouses as a permanent, never gonna disappear investment, because the reality is they aren't very strong structures, and you know, it's only a matter of time before something happens that is gonna catastrophically damage them. But where we live, the thing that destroys greenhouses is heavy snowfall. It's not tornadoes coming. You know, when I told, you know, our fellow local markers that a tornado took out one of our greenhouses, they were kind of like, what? Like, I have to worry about that too? It wasn't in the realm of possibility, and now it is. Oh, Dusty, you're cute. Okay, I know that you are snuggly. This was a rough week. It's hard to imagine kind of like a worse possible week, right? To have no flowers, you know, to lose one of our major pieces of infrastructure. We had a whole plan for fall that involved planting into that greenhouse. Now we need to completely reorganize, you know, what we were gonna be doing for the farm over the next couple weeks. You know, we need to find time now in the fall to get another greenhouse up. There's the cost of the actual structure, and then there's the time, you know, and with our time being so limited, the time costs is really one of the biggest burdens. You know, I tell myself that by thinking positively and that being focused on the future and being focused on moving forward, that is what it's gonna take to be able to do hard things. I don't necessarily know that I've ever been tested in my beliefs as much as I have this last week, and I'm not feeling overwhelmingly stressed. I'm not feeling burnt out and unable to continue through the season. I'm not sitting here questioning if I should be a farmer in the future. I'm feeling confident that having the right attitude for approaching these problems is a good solution for me. I'm feeling like you know, as long as I just keep my eye on the goals that I want to achieve, you know, I'm going to be able to deal with things like this, because the reality is, being a farmer, things are always going to be going wrong. There's always going to be problems. Things are always going to be catastrophically breaking. The weather is always going to be catastrophically causing my plans to fail. And if I didn't have a way of managing those like really hard and heavy emotions inside of myself, I don't know that I'd be able to continue being a farmer forever like I want to. But if I want to be a farmer, then I have to be selling stuff. And a great tool to help you sell stuff is our sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform from which to create your website. Connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated members-only content. Manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights, all on one easy-to-use platform. Or create a community with their powerful blogging tools. Or use Squarespace extensions to manage inventory, promote products, and streamline bookkeeping. Or simply display posts from your social profiles. Honestly, the options feel limitless. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/youcaneatthegrass to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Who knows? Having a website in 2023 might just be the thing that finally makes me profitable.